This is the LMU School Psychology Program, our info session we have a few times a year. We do offer both an on-campus and online program options, which are essentially the same program. One is just on campus and one is virtually in this space. I do want to mention that we're recording today's session and we will make it available to you. I'm Dr. Karen Camosa Hawkins. I'm the program director and I teach internship classes in year 3 of our program. I'd like for you to reserve your questions until the end. I promise you we will have time to answer all of your questions. I am joined today by Cheryl Hugo, our admissions counselor, who you may have already been in contact with, and then 2 of our current students who happen to also be graduate assistants supporting our program. I have Nanoha here, who I saw waved her hand. She's in year 2. She's also a year 2 leader in our Graduate Association of School Psychologists. And then Charles, or Charlie, is in year 1 of our program. So they're going to help us answer questions that you throw in the chat later, or ask any questions that I might not be able to answer. And if you think of anything after we're done tonight too, we can always put you in contact with Nano or Charlie, or whoever in the program. Cheryl's always sort of your first point of contact, and if she can't answer your questions, we'll make sure to get you to whoever can. All right, so moving right along, because our time together is very brief today, I do want to highlight that our program is NASP approved, both programs on campus and online, which means it's a highly rigorous program. It means you are going to be well prepared by the time you get through our program, and will have no problem finding a job. In my opinion, our program, I guess it's not just an opinion. I think there's lots of evidence to suggest that our program is very highly regarded throughout the state of California and beyond. But in the program, you will actually earn a master's degree in educational psychology at the end of year 2, at which time you'll apply for an intern credential that gets you through year 3 of the program, that you'll be working toward your Ed.S degree in school psychology, as well as the California Pupil Personnel Services credential in school psychology specifically. So that is different from a PPS credential in school counseling or school social work. It is specific to the practice of school psychology. By the end of the program, you're also going to be eligible to be a nationally certified school psychologist. So one of the requirements of our program is to take the Praxis exam, that is our comprehensive exam, in year 3. And once you pass that, which you have to pass that to complete our program, then you just have to apply for that national certification. We are also preparing you so that you are eligible to become a licensed educational psychologist through California's Board of Behavioral Sciences. That is something that once you have been practicing for a couple years after you graduate and complete the program, then you are eligible to apply to become a LEP. It requires taking an examination, paying a fee, and that allows you to practice outside of the context of schools, but specific to the area of educational school psychology. Before I move on, I do want to make sure I mention our program is a 63-unit program across those 3 years. Our cohort sizes range anywhere from 16 to 20 students each for online and on campus. So each year we admit a total of 32 to 40 students across both online and on campus. And you will apply to either the online program or the on-campus program. So you're applying to one or the other, and will be considered for that and ultimately admitted into one of those 2 programs. I do also want to mention that the online program, as I already sort of alluded to, it's not asynchronous. It's not you just learning on your own. There is a strong participatory component where we expect to engage with you face-to-face on Zoom like this. There are some asynchronous learning activities and things involved. A lot of our courses are, hybrid in the sense that we use lots of different modalities and approaches in terms of how we teach you the curriculum and help you to learn all of the knowledge and skills that you need to learn across the NASP domains of practice. But our online program, at least 50%, and I would venture a guess that it's probably a lot higher than that, is synchronous or face-to-face meetings like this via Zoom. It might be a whole group meeting, it might be a small group meeting, it might be individual meetings from time to time. So you will see a range of different activities and modalities, like I mentioned. All right, this next slide gives you just an overview of year 1, year 2, and year 3 in terms of what to expect out of the program. As I mentioned, our program is highly rigorous. It's going to prepare you well for your career, and our graduates are highly competitive in the field. Our courses are all in the evening so that it allows our students to work during the day and or complete their fieldwork training during school hours, right? So you need to be able to have sort of daytime hours to do those things. So all of the courses are anywhere from 4:30 to 9:45 at night. And we try to contain your classes, ideally to 2, at most 3 evenings a week. So you can expect to have some back-to-back classes just to try and kind of keep it contained and manageable for you. So in year 1 of the program, we do have candidates who work part-time. We have a number who work full-time in year 1. It is a lot to juggle with the intensity of the coursework, and there are some field-based assignments built in to year 1. It's what we call externship, and that's in the spring semester of year 1. And you're doing those field-based activities in a school local to where you are. It just has to be an approved partner between the university and the district. And we have a number of approved partners throughout the state, and we're always expanding our partnerships. So even if you do work full time or you are juggling a couple part-time jobs or whatever, it is helpful if you have some flexibility in year 1, especially when you get to that second semester and need to do some of those field-based activities or assignments. In year 2, it also helps to have some flexibility because you will be completing a practicum 2 days per week. So again, that's an approved district partner who is providing you with mentoring and supervision at school sites. You also have a university-based supervisor who's providing supervision through a practicum course in year 2. I would say all of our year 2 courses have field-based assignments that you are doing within the context of your practicum assignment. And our fieldwork courses and intensive counseling courses in year 2 are smaller courses so that we can provide more intensive supervision and make sure that you have the support you need as you develop those critical skills. So let's see. Year 3. Year 3 is a full-time internship. You can expect to be working 5 days a week in a school setting at your internship. Every once in a while, we have interns who might only be on site 4 days a week, but usually that means they're writing reports on the 5th day at home or doing other types of internship-related activities. Whether you end up getting a paid internship or a non-paid internship, the expectation is still the same. You have 1,200 hours to complete during the year, which can be accomplished 5 days a week over the course of your 3rd year. The course load is a lot less that internship year. Obviously, you're working full-time as an intern. You have an internship seminar class that goes along with that, and then another 1-unit class. As I mentioned, it is year 3 that you take that praxis exam, which is a comprehensive exam that makes you eligible for the NCSP. I have listed here what our interns are making this year. I will say this fluctuates from year to year. The slide I presented a year ago had very different figures here. We had maybe twice as many interns making over $100,000. This year, unfortunately, due to cuts and just, districts having to prioritize in other ways, there just seemed like there weren't as many paid internships. I am actively pursuing lots of different opportunities in hopes that we can, get some more paid internships for our candidates. That's something that I'm prioritizing and working with different district partners to figure out how we can do that. So if you notice, we have 39 interns this year. 39 is not accounted for here. That means that there are 7 interns who elected to take an internship that pays nothing. But they made that choice. Fortunately, they were in a position to do that. And they felt it was more important for them to get, a really strong training experience. And they found a great training opportunity at a district local to them. And so it just made more sense for them. All right, next up, I want to talk just a little bit about our program's learning strands. It is our learning strands that really set us apart from other programs and inform our learning outcomes. So what you're working toward, these learning strands are woven throughout our program, starting with the very first course, all through year 1, year 2, year 3. There are 5 interrelated areas of content knowledge and applied skills that are embedded just to ensure that you are a well-rounded school psychologist in the end, that you have a well-rounded learning experience and you're able to function in any setting and do all of the good work that school psychologists do. So as I mentioned, we have 4 of the 5 learning strands here. And you will see that these learning strands relate to everything that we do as school psychologists. And so you will discover pretty quickly how important it is to utilize evidence-based practices in all aspects of your work as a school psychologist. We also really focus on helping you to uncover and capitalize on your own personal individual strengths as you develop your leadership skills, since school psychologists are viewed as leaders and you operate as leaders within school communities. So you will also see that we focus on strengths and assets. We focus on your strengths and assets as our students because we expect you to also be focusing on student strengths and assets in the work that you do. So we want you to put that into practice. And so we want you to also be able to focus on your own self-care and manage your stress and prevent burnout. School psychology is a very demanding field. You have your hand in a lot of things. It's a high-paced, never a dull moment kind of career. You're busy. You got a lot of things going on that you're juggling. And so it's important to really strike that work-life balance. So we will have conversations, you'll reflect on that. And in the end, in year 3, as an intern, you'll actually document and keep track of that you're doing weekly self-care too. So it's our way of holding you accountable. And actually the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing wants to see that we're embedding self-care into the program too, because they recognize how important it is for our practitioners to make sure they're taking good care of themselves, making sure that you're resilient, and making sure that then that translates into helping to foster resilience in the students that you're working with in the schools. All right. And then our 5th learning strand is social justice in action. Let me slow down so I don't slur that word altogether there. I would say social justice in action. You will find that in the title in many of our courses. Our students not only read about it, they reflect on it, they discuss social justice. They are putting social justice into action throughout the program in a variety of ways. So from your field-based assignments that you're doing, other program-related activities, there is just a lot of different opportunities to really learn and kind of embed that social justice that we think is so important to the work of school psychologists. I did want to highlight a couple examples. We have one of our year 3 interns who's been actively involved, a leader in GASP, our Graduate Association of School Psychologists. Last year, she launched a grocery drive to support immigrant families at the charter school that she was at for practicum. And so ultimately, she served over 120 families with that. And this year, she's currently leading a school supply drive for unhoused youth through the School on Wheels. And so GASP, our student organization, is getting involved in both of those types of activities. GASP also participates in an annual Adopt a Family program where they collect gifts at the holidays, wrap the gifts, and deliver the gifts to families of children with exceptional needs who are identified through one of our local regional centers. So just a few examples of kind of putting this into practice outside of coursework, in addition to just the assignments that have our students kind of focusing on putting this into practice. All right, so I've talked about our learning strands and what might make us a little bit different. I think it just really our community with faculty, with our cohorts, the student organization helps build that community. There's lots of leadership opportunities. We have students every year that are presenting at the California Association of School Psychologists annual conference, as well as the National Association of School Psychologists conference. You have a variety of pictures here from a variety of different events. In the upper right-hand corner, there was a 5K that some of our candidates participated in. In the bottom right corner, our parents and some of our candidates. That is one of the courses that Dr. Ed.S teaches that really gets our candidates involved in collaborating with families. And then we have some other students who, from conferences and then obviously at commencement. What else did I want to say? I've mentioned our Graduate Association of School Psychologists, GASP, all of these acronyms. It's much easier to say the acronyms, but I want to make sure you know what I'm talking about. GASP, which sounds like CASP and NASP, provides several benefits to our students. As I mentioned, the leadership opportunities, the community, information sharing, mentoring. So they have a mentoring program built in. So year 3 advises year 2 advises year 1, so that we kind of keep that mentoring and support going throughout the program. Okay, how are we doing on time? Good. All right. So I have here for you a picture. It's actually Dr. Barbara Caddick is there on the far right, Day at the Beach. And this is a number of our current year 3 candidates from both on campus and online who, could join that day. So just one more picture to give you a sense of how we build community. And then before we move to our Q&A time, which I'm sure you've all come with lots of questions, hopefully I've answered some of those questions, but I'm sure you have more. I did want to make sure that you are aware of the LMU student resource sessions that are going on later this evening that you can log on to. If you happen to be an international student, then I would encourage you to attend international admission instead of financial aid. You see that they're at the same time. But if you're not international, then definitely attend financial aid. And then immediately following that is the career and professional development office on campus. So both are great resources that you'll want to take advantage of when you're part of our program. All right. So I think we hit the highlights, right? Okay, so now we have time for a Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and try and get out of there. Okay, I don't know what happened to my screen. There we go. All right, so you can raise your hand if you want to ask your question out loud. You can put your question in the chat, and as I mentioned, we'll monitor the chat. Dorian.
Okay, I have like a couple of questions, so but I'll just ask one right now and then
Okay.
maybe I'll come back later or for the internship, do they place you in like a student population that you're interested in? So for example, I'm interested in little kids with autism because I'm on the spectrum, like I have Asperger's, and I work right now with Holding Hands and I write for regional center. So I would be very interested in like the alternative curriculum type children. That's what I really want to work with when I'm done. Um, could they find you an internship like through LA Unified if you're interested in that population? Do you go to like what you're interested in is what I'm trying to ask. I don't know how to ask
Yes.
it.
Well, yes, I think I understand what you're asking. So first off, I would say that wherever you want to do your internship is where you should seek out obtaining an internship. So we provide a lot of support and guidance in terms of that process. But ultimately, it's up to our students to reach out to and apply to those districts and internship opportunities or practicum opportunities in places or spaces that they want to get that experience and training. Over the course of the program, we do expect you to get field-based training at multiple levels. So you
Okay.
would need experience both at elementary and secondary. But
Okay.
if you're more interested in elementary and early
Yes.
childhood, then
Yes.
you could do the bulk of your hours at that
Oh,
level.
nice.
And then you would just have to do at least 300 hours at the alternate level.
Okay, when you say the alternate level, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear
Meaning
it all.
if you're
I got
doing,
cut off.
yeah, if let's say you want to focus on elementary, the majority of your hours would be at elementary, the alternate level would be secondary. And when I say elementary, that might include preschool and elementary,
Yes. Yes.
and secondary would be middle school and high school.
That's okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Great. Taylor.
Hello, I'm Taylor.
Hey.
I'm wondering what kind, I know gas was mentioned, and I was kind of going over like the information sharing and the mentoring during enrollment, but I was wondering what kind of support is offered to LMU students that have an interest in venturing into more broader systems of advocacy.
So I will say that as school psychologists, and our training program really emphasizes you as school psychologists being advocates within the school system. Ultimately, if you so choose to work in other settings or privately as an advocate, once you've completed the program and have a couple years under your belt, then you could certainly go out there and be an advocate independent of the school system, but collaborating obviously with school systems. So I would say as a school psychologist, probably one of the primary identities of a school psychologist is as advocate, because we
Mhm.
are advocating for what's in the best interest of children and families and school systems.
Right. Okay. Thank you for answering the question. I also
Sure.
have more if we time allows. Um,
Okay. Taylor, hold on one sec. I don't see any other hands, so I'm going to let you ask Erica has one. Let me come back to you, Taylor. So keep your hand raised. I just want to make sure I get everyone to at least get one question answered. Okay. Wait, Erica, where'd you go on my screen? I don't know where you went.
I don't know. Do you see
Oh,
me?
there you are. There you are. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
I just have one question about the practicum being full, whether that's a full day, as in full time. You could do it before during the day if you had evening classes, or is it a full day, 8:30 to 5:30, those 2 days of practicum a week?
I would say practicum, you need to count on 2 full school days being at a school site. And that typically would be either you could start as early as 7:30, some you might not start till 8:30 or anywhere in between. And then usually you would end somewhere between 2:30 and 3:30.
Okay.
That's typically, what a school day would be. And then you would have enough time to get to campus to attend class or get home to log on to class.
Okay. And also you may not have your practicum on a day that you have class.
True. That
Okay.
is true. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Sure. Bailey.
Took me a second to unmute there, sorry.
That's okay.
I was looking at the application early this week, and the session that pops up is like summer session 2. Does this program start at different times throughout the year, or is that the year where the year starts for the program?
Yeah, so we admit only one time of year, which means then you start the program at only one time of year and you go through the program as a cohort. So we do start in the second summer session, which comes up the end of June, and then goes for 6 weeks. And then you have a little time in between that second summer session and the fall semester when you have a full load of classes. That second summer session is just a 1-unit class. It's the sort of the foundational introductory course to the field and the program.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have a
Sure.
question.
Yes, Dorian.
So when we apply for the school psychology program, what session should we put in then? The summer session of 2026?
I think I don't know, it asks for a specific session, Cheryl.
I mean,
Yes, the
yeah,
programs and every program has its own selections. This one, the only one you're going to be able to select is summer session 2, 2026.
that's what I thought. I'm just clarifying. Okay,
Yeah.
Taylor.
Hi again.
Hi.
So aside from the curriculum and the GASP, what other kinds of support are offered in preparation for testing for the NCSP exam or any other kind of credential?
Sure. So the only exam, like for your credential, once you complete the program, you are eligible to apply for your credential. There is no exam for that. So the praxis is the exam. Like I said, it is a comprehensive exam. Our students in between year 2 and year 3 oftentimes form study groups and support one another in preparing for that exam. There are also a lot of resources that we as a program provide you that actually ETS, the provider or the test administrator, provides and makes available, and NAS makes available. So there's lots of different prep materials that will help you in preparing for that exam. But I will say, if you take your graduate studies very seriously and work really hard and do well in all of the courses, then you're going to probably be pretty well prepared to take that exam.
yeah.
Okay.
And our students, from time to time, we might have a few students each year that might need to retake the exam. So that's why we encourage students to take it early enough in year 3 so that they have an opportunity to retake, and usually it's because of nerves or test anxiety that students end up needing to retake. But everyone passes in the end, rest assured.
Understandable. Okay.
And
Thank you.
Dr. Wiggins, if I can quickly chime in on that.
Oh, thanks, Nano.
Yeah, so regarding the exams, I feel like one of the biggest resources for us is GASP, the Graduate Association of School Psychs, and we have mentorships. So we each get like a year. So I'm in year 2, so I have an year 3 mentor and also a year 1 mentee. And within these like cross year mentorships, we share a lot of like resources, a lot of mentorship, which really helps us with preparing for these exams. So not only will you have your professors and programs and resources, but you'll also have that graduate association where you can rely on for some like direct like stories and things, resources that you can get from other students who've been through that too.
Got it. Thank you for experience. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Nano.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is there also a part-time program? Because I have an autoimmune disease, and once in a while I have to see my doctor very early in the morning. I don't think it'll affect me. It's at UCLA, but I just need to know, is there part-time or is this full-time?
Our program is a full-time program and
Okay.
fairly intense, but again, our courses are all in the evenings, anywhere from 4:30 in the
Okay.
afternoon through 9:45 at night.
Oh, that's perfect then. I'm fine. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Taylor, did you have another question? No, okay. Anyone else? Do I see any other hands? Any questions in the chat that you need my help answering?
I'm just reading through a long one right now.
Okay, thanks. I haven't even been looking at the chat. I
Yeah,
feel like I
no.
can't do both very well.
No, you don't need to. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Taylor.
Hi again.
Hi.
So being that we're in, LMU is in the Los Angeles area, do you guys have any kind of relationship or partnership? I'm pretty sure, but I'm not familiar with LUSD.
Yes, so LAUSD is our biggest partner because it's the second largest school district in the nation, and it is local to LMU. So we have partnered with them for decades and decades and decades, forever. We have a lot of our graduates go on to work in LAUSD. A number of our adjunct faculty we have from a lot of different districts, but a number of them are from LAUSD as well, whether they are currently employed there or retired from various positions with LAUSD. So we actually do have a very strong, longstanding relationship with LAUSD.
Well, that's awesome. Because the schools I wanted to go to were LAUSD.
Great. And there's plenty there that what's great about LAUSD is there are so many schools to choose from and in different regions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm scanning to see, are there hands raised? Any other questions?
How competitive is the program to get into? And what does waitlist mean?
We do keep an active wait list because as I mentioned, we will admit anywhere from 32 to 40 students per cohort each year. And that is half will be on campus, half will be online. And we have more than double that who apply. And so it's an extensive process. But people are applying to lots of different programs, and all of the programs essentially will admit around the same time. And so then it's this big scramble. And so we keep a very active wait list because some applicants who we admit end up going to other programs or make other decisions for themselves, and then that opens up a spot. So we just ask that, when you go through the admissions process, if you're admitted, that you just keep in communication with us and let us know, so that we're able to offer, a spot that opens up to someone else who's eagerly waiting. And we just, unfortunately, there's limited space. There's lots of great candidates that end up on our wait list. And, a lot of times we're able to admit off of our wait list.
Awesome.
Other questions? There's been random words sort of popping up. I'm sure in the chat, it's already been addressed that we do have one of our faculty members, Dr. Dawn Richards, is our field work coordinator. So she is the one who provides a lot of advisement and guidance, both in small groups, whole cohorts, and individually to our students to help kind of facilitate finding field work placements. Gavin.
Would you guys be able to share like program cost information and that such?
Yes, we have the information's on our website. We also have an info packet that we can send you with that information.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be great.
And there are lots of different options that come up. I know the Golden State Grant is a big one that our students have been applying for the last few years. That's one that I'm not sure if that state funding is going to continue, but there's also another big scholarship through the state that's offered. So the funding that's available for our graduate students sort of evolves and changes from year to year too. So it's just, you just have to continue to look at, what's available. We do offer some program scholarships that you can apply to once you're admitted to the program. Those are partial scholarships. There's also opportunities to work as a TA, RA, or GA. Those are part-time opportunities, but just another way to supplement, and pay for your tuition or your living expenses. Bailey. Oh, you're mute. There you go.
Sorry, my Zoom is so slow today. Going back to the admission process, it sounds like it's single date admission, not a rolling admission. Is that correct? Just wanted to clarify.
Correct. We do not have rolling admission. It is the first Friday in February. Am I saying that right, Cheryl? When that's our deadline. That's the priority deadline. I would say definitely aim for that priority deadline. We have so many people that apply that honestly, if you apply after that deadline, in all likelihood, your application won't be looked at. Because we have lots of great, highly competitive applicants who apply.
And
Awesome.
you want to, sorry, I'm just going to add, you want to not only apply, but you want to have all of your documents in. So I always recommend apply early so that your recommenders will get their letters in. Be sure to request your transcripts well in advance. Because if you've submitted your application, but you are missing those things, you're not going to be reviewed. So it's a matter of submitting an application and having it be complete.
I have a
That's
question. Sorry.
Thank you, Cheryl. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm under a little bit the GPA because I had to graduate early from university because I couldn't afford to take more classes to raise up my GPA. There is a paper that says something about that. Are you allowed to still apply if you're under a 3? Because I'm like a 2.9.
You can. There's an additional statement that you just need to write to explain why it is, and I can send that to you later. Reach out to me.
Well, if you could just send it to me, yeah. Just because I had to graduate early and the money.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
A different Taylor this time.
Hi, I just had a question about like while we're preparing our personal statements, what you kind of wanted to like look for, like what the admissions committee looks at in those personal statements.
Sure. We really love to see that our applicants have experience working with children, with families, in school settings. Some people don't have experience in schools, but they have a lot of experience working with children and families in other contexts, and that's fine. So I would highlight any of those sorts of experiences. Any research experience that you've had that's related as well, certainly would serve you well. And any sort of experience that you have that relates to social justice would also be good to highlight.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure, Erica.
I think this one got skipped in the chat. I was curious if you can ever just do a semester online if you're in person, perhaps that early summer semester online and then join in the fall, or is that not an option?
So you do apply to and are admitted to one or the other program. There is the option at some point in the program where if your circumstances change and you want to petition to switch to one of the other program, right? The other modality.
Mm-hmm.
You can certainly petition to do that. There needs to be space in the other program. And you need to be essentially, all of the faculty need to be in agreement that makes sense. Given how you've been navigating the program and, that it's recommended that you make that switch.
Okay.
Usually we're able to accommodate those sorts of things, but we don't have people coming in and out of programs or whatever. It's like you're in one or the other, but we do from time to time have students that petition to switch.
Okay. So the first semester, probably not.
Yeah, no, but I will say this, I mean, the the 6-week course, that first summer course, that's 1 unit. First off, it's a lot less intensive than a 3-unit class, which most of our classes are 3 units.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you even meet every week for class. So I think there is some little bit of flexibility built into it, but you
Yeah.
still obviously have to
Yeah.
meet the requirements of the class.
I do think that I had the option to choose summer session 1, summer session 2, fall, that they all came up, just so you know, when I applied.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will look into that. I have not
I
seen that.
saw that too.
Okay.
Yeah, Erica,
Oh.
I saw that too.
That is not on us. That is graduate admission. So thank you for that, because I will reach out to them. That is
Yeah.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
That's an error. That might be something that got changed in the system and shouldn't have been changed for us.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Sure. Thank you.
Taylor.
Hey again. So I live in Carson. I was wondering what the if there are any student housing options or on-campus housing options for graduate students.
You'd think by now I would have this committed to memory because the question comes up every time and then I forget about it. There are graduate housing options. I think both on campus, but also in the local area.
Not on campus. No,
Not on
only,
campus?
no, we have
Off.
an,
It's
yeah,
off.
we have,
Yeah.
we have an agreement with Playa del Oro, which is about a 15-minute walk from the campus. There's information on the graduate website on that. You know, you get placed with someone kind of like when you're an undergrad. I believe there are 2 bedrooms. You can share a bedroom or have a single. But that's the only thing that we have for graduate students. But there's a million apartments in the area that people will often just search for on their own.
You got it. And a gorgeous view.
Yes.
Everything's
Right.
Yes. We do have that going for us for sure. Other questions that I can or can't answer?
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you start applying on, it's safe, like you need help on the application or you need to talk to somebody about it. Can you reach out, and go, okay, I'm kind of stuck on this piece of the application. Can you help me? Or, I mean,
That's what I'm there for. You know, my email, soeinfo@lmu.edu, everything
okay.
comes from me. Just respond to that. You know, the application's pretty simple. It walks you through all the steps.
Yeah, started it.
Gives you the prompts. Yeah, but that's, feel free to email me with any of your questions, and I usually
Perfect.
respond pretty quickly unless it's a weekend.
No, I get it. But
Yeah.
like, it's good to know that there's somebody there, God, for, sometimes you still run into stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Cheryl is a great resource. So,
Thank you.
yes. Any other questions? How are we doing on time? We still have 15 minutes left.
Yeah. Do they have a writing center on campus that we can utilize too? I know how to write, of course, but
Yes, we actually refer a lot of our students to the Writing Center on campus. So some people have great writing skills, others want to work on improving those writing skills. The writing that you do in our program, because you're going to learn how to write a psychoeducational report, it's a different type of writing than you've done in undergrad or until this point in time. But yeah, we have disability support services. We have the academic resource center, which houses the writing center. We
perfect.
have psychological services. There are tons of LMU resources available for any sort of need that you might have. And that's all, part of your tuition. So it's not at an additional cost. Bailey.
I was just curious to the 2 current students who are in here, if we have a little bit of extra time, share your favorite thing about the program so far, and then maybe your most challenging transition into the program or something that's been challenging for you as you've started your journey.
I love it. I love when the focus can be on someone other than me. Okay.
Of course, yeah, thanks for asking that question. Personally, I think for me, my favorite part is definitely my cohort. Right, we make friendships, but these are also the people that we're going to be working with in the future once we graduate. So it's a really, really special bond, like a relationship that we have. Like we're really close, we spend so much time together, but we also have that professional aspect because we know that we're going to be relying on each other in the future. And that's just a relationship that I haven't really had with a lot of students during my undergrad. So that type of bond is definitely the highlight for me. We love hanging out. We're gonna be going to the CASP conference at the end of this month too. So yeah, I feel like those relationships that you make are definitely the highlight. On the other hand, the challenge is time management, definitely, especially now that I'm in year two and I'm a full-time student and I also have practicum. I go in 2 full days and 1 half day, so like 2.5 days a week. And it has been a lot to juggle. Like there's a lot of assignments, responsibilities that you want to keep track of and want to stay on top of. But also like you have to think about, okay, how am I going to secure time to unwind and practice self-care. Because one of the things that my school psychologist mentor first told me was that you can develop all these skills and you can be like the greatest school psychologist, but if you're burnt out and if you're not able to be present for your students at that school, then like you're not going to be able to make that impact. So for me, I'm still learning how to, juggle school responsibility, my personal life, self-care, all that, to really find this like sustainable schedule. And that's something that I'm still practicing right now. So that's definitely a big area of growth for me. But my professors and cohorts have been really, really helpful with that. So you won't be alone with trying to fight through that journey for sure.
I mean, to echo what Nano said, the kind of cohort aspect of the program is really nice, and definitely my favorite part with just the amount of collaboration that goes on between us and the friendships that we make. I came in with some friends from undergrad, but then I met a bunch of new people, and that aspect is always amazing to me. The challenge also is time management. A lot of the assignments are more on your own time rather than doing it with your entire class. So the planner has been my best friend with that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the time management and the self-care kind of aspect, it's a bit more higher caliber than undergrad work. Um, and definitely a lot more detail that goes into it. Uh, but yeah, just trying to balance everything out is the harder part.
I would say the time management piece, it's an area for growth for all of us, and it's something that evolves and changes over time. So year one, you have less of the field-based component, but most people are generally working more. And then year two, it shifts. Now you have your practicum a couple days. So now you got to shift whatever you figured out worked in year one, you're shifting in year two. And then year three, you have the full-time internship. So then you got to shift again, and figure out. And what works for one person might not work for the other. I have these conversations with the interns all the time. We like to kind of share what we find useful and different resources that their mentors have shared with them. And I've shared different things that I've seen work for whether it's myself or my colleagues. And, no two people are alike. So you figure it out, and it's something that you'll just have to continue to give yourself grace, but prioritize that you're going to continue to build your time management skills, because that will be key to your success as a school psychologist. Other questions we haven't answered in our remaining time?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you get paired with a mentor, as you said, correct? Do they pick the mentor who they best feel is going to suit you based on personality? So it's not just like a random person, a random like, student, or it's just anybody?
No, can you speak to
Yes.
that? Were you involved in that process?
Yeah. I actually worked with our year three cohort leaders, so they kind of take the lead with that. I did work with them. So like when you get in, one of like the first things that you're going to do is to post on our entire like program Bright Space like a discussion post, and you'll share like a picture of yourself, a little bit about yourself, your interests, hobbies. So we use that to kind of like pair people together based on similar interests or like similar hometown or like same like undergrad that they went to. So we always make sure that there's some like similar connection when we pair a year or two or like when we pair students together within that mentorship.
Oh, I really like that. That's really that's cool. I like that. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I was curious.
Any other questions? Is the chat still active?
No, it's
Slowing down? Miranda?
Can one of you maybe speak about the interview part of the application process, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
So there's the application deadline, and then we screen all of the applications and we determine from our review of the applications who we're going to invite for a group interview. And we have 1 week in March where we invite about 70 people total for a group interview. And you're in an interview with a couple faculty, and I want to say 6 or 7 of you, where we're asking the same sort of questions of each of you. And then half of the group is doing a writing exercise, so responding to a prompt, while the other half are being interviewed with the faculty, and then we swap. And so it's all within, oh my gosh, an hour and a half, 45 minutes each, sort of ish, where you'll be, the active interview part and then the writing part. And then that week on Thursday evening, we have another Q&A session like this where we invite even more students from the program from all 3 years. All of the full-time faculty are there. And it just gives you a little bit more information for you to consider as you, move forward in the process and need to start making decisions.
Thank you.
Sure. And the writing exercise, we give you some reading to do in advance to just sort of prime you that you'll reflect on and incorporate in your written response.
Because I was about to say, I'm like, oh my God. Random prompts, which is fine from undergrad, but I'm like, okay. But that's nice to know. Thank you.
Yes. Taylor.
Okay, so this could be a question for you or any of the current students. I was wondering what like attributes do students typically have or that thrive in the program? Like what kind of student typically thrives the most in this program? Or the most well?
That's a great question, Taylor. I have to pause first, think about it. I would say going back to what we've already talked about with time management, I think time management is so critical to your success in the program. So you're going to be juggling a lot. There's going to be a lot coming at you. So the more organized that you can be, the more resourceful that you can be in terms of taking advantage of whatever resources are available through LMU, reaching out to faculty, reaching out to your cohort, attending GASP meetings, just really kind of those students that go all in and are fully invested and really take ownership for their learning. That's what we want to see. We want to see students who are really actively engaged and active participants. In fact, speaking of participation, that usually does play into your grade in classes. We want everyone to have a voice. We want to hear from everyone. We want everyone to learn from one another. We all have something to contribute. We all have lived experiences that we can all learn from one another. So we don't want folks to shy away from that. I think some people come in and they're a little more tentative, a little shy. They don't really like the participation piece, but I think our faculty do a good job of really trying to support and encourage and find ways to make sure that everyone feels like they can be active contributors and actively participate. And there's lots of, because we have whole group and small group and individual, there's lots of different opportunities and ways for you to participate and engage. But I think the more engaged you are, the more serious you take the program. It's different from undergrad. You are preparing yourself for a career. So you cannot just stay at the surface level. You really have to go deep. So you are learning knowledge and skills across 10 domains of practice. And so we take it very seriously. Our faculty are very passionate about the field of school psychology and passionate about children and families getting what they need, and making sure that we're, making not only individual level change, but group level and systemic changes in the field of education. So I think the more you kind of just dive right in and immerse yourself in the learning, that's what we're looking for. Charlie, did I capture it?
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I'd really emphasize the collaborative aspect of the job. I mean, while you're a school psychologist, your job is collaboration. So
Right.
being able to work with other people very well, especially because you're going to be in a cohort for 3 years, is really kind of emphasized in the program as well.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Thank you, Charlie. Yes, collaboration.
Got it. Thank you,
I
guys.
think we have just a minute left, so I don't know if there's one last quick question or if we've covered it all. And again, if you might think of some other things after signing off today, but you can reach out to Cheryl. She can always put you in contact with me or a student in the program to make sure that you get all of your questions answered.
I just put my email in the chat, so please feel free to use it at any time.
For financial aid, are we going to be using this link tonight, or is there going to be a different link?
There is a different link, I believe. It should have been emailed to you from what I
Got
understand.
it. Yeah, okay. No.
Yeah, if you registered for it, you should have it in your email. If you
have it.
didn't, you can go back to the Graduate Open House website and get
Okay.
it from there.
Thank you so much. No, absolutely. Okay.
Right, we're out of time, everyone. It's 5 o'clock.